Good morning to everyone. I would be presenting the subretinal cannula wriggling out of it case. This is the story of a 49-year-old male who presented in our outpatient department with diminution of vision in his right eye for 6 months. He also had history of episodes of pain and redness in his right eye. On taking him up for slit lamp examination, we found evidence of anterior uveitis in his right eye with presence of over 180-degree posterior synecdoche, pigment on the surface of an early cataractous lens, a not very well dilating irregular pupil, and 2+ flare. His left eye examination was not remarkable. He had a best corrected visual acuity of only 6/16 in his right eye, and upon performing an indirect ophthalmoscopy, we soon found out why. He had a predominantly nasal retinal detachment in his right eye with multiple holes present in the periphery. We advised a vitreoretinal surgery and a guarded prognosis, keeping in mind his undilated pupil, and advised investigations for it. However, owing to COVID and its restriction, we could take him up for surgery only a couple of days later. We first made the infratemporal port for infusion cannula, checked its position as is our standard practice. But upon starting vitrectomy, we realized that the retinal detachment had become a total bullous retinal detachment, with bulla coming up to the surface of the lens and our endolite port having gone subretinally. We tried to do a limited vitrectomy, injected PFCL to the posterior pole to flatten it, tried to do a further vitrectomy with the endolite still present subretinally, but using it as support. But at this point, we had to shift our ports to further proceed with the surgery. We now proceeded with vitrectomy, although with cluttering of ports and very absurd hand movements, it was a difficult, daunting task. After performing a nearly meticulous vitrectomy, we proceeded with fluid air exchange, and oh my, we realized our air was filling up subretinally. And upon checking, we rightfully saw that the infusion cannula had at this time gone subretinal as well. We yet again shifted ports and our infusion cannula, and again proceeded with the surgery. We had to evacuate the subretinal air along with the fluid, and then performed a fluid air exchange again, but this time, thankfully, our retina settled and we could do a full drainage. We injected silicone oil to give further support to the retina, and then did a thorough endolaser retinopexy around all the breaks. Quite a few of them were present from before, but a few of them had been made iatrogenically due to the ports having gone subretinal. We also did a complete 360-degree laser endolaser retinopexy in the periphery to have a well-settled retina post-operatively. And through our ordeal and horrors, we learned a few lessons. One, to always check the intravitreal position of the cannula before turning on infusion. However, you remember cannula can go subretinal during surgery. However, if it does happen, always maintain your calm and do not try to push instruments through, or else you can land up in bigger horrors. Shift ports immediately and try to make a direct entry rather than biplanar. And through it all, remember to go slow and you will win the race. 2 other reminders: better to take a cataract consent pre-operatively and always perform indirect ophthalmoscopy just prior to surgery, especially if there's a gap. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yusra. You have just presented a complication, intraoperative complication of vitrectomy, is not that?
Yes, sir. And its management while, yes, sir.
Anything specific regarding this? Because this is something everybody knows about this. Do you have any extra point that you want to share that this is the best way of getting out of this?
So one, that although we may take all precautions, we may still land up subretinally. So in this case, rather than panicking and trying to continue our surgery, it would be best to take it slow and come out of the, remove your ports, make another port, and this time make a direct entry rather than biplanar to facilitate the surgery.
Would you ever try a paracentesis and an AC maintainer?
Yes, sir. So our other option was, if in this case, this was a phakic patient. So
Even
it was
in
our
fake
next,
X.
yes,
Even
sir.
in
So,
fakes.
yes, sir. So even in fake X, in case this would, our retina wouldn't have settled and we would not have been able to make another port, which would not be subretinal, our next option was trying to make an entry through the anterior chamber and putting an infusion
You
port
had
there.
already put in 4 or 5 ports there instead of 3.
So we could see some space through which the ports could enter, which is why we did it. Yes,
Okay,
we had a
great.
whole studded retina. Yes, sir. No,
Good.
studded eye. Yes.
The AC maintainer would have been better option.
So it was our next option. We were just remembering the fake status of the
You
eyes.
came out well with this case. Thank you so much.
Thank you.